This episode, we're going to talk about announcements. When is the right and the wrong time to announce something? Because something like that happens in our first story today, and I really hope that you're ready for it. G'day there, guys. It's your main man, Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/AmITheA. Now, if you like content like this, I want you to smack that subscribe button if you haven't already, and sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and get ready for some bloody good content. Let's go. Am I the asshole for kicking my brother out for announcing his wife's pregnancy right after I announced my daughter's diagnosis? Just to make sure I represent both sides of the conflict, my brother and his wife suffered from not having kids for years, and it impacted them greatly. They love the kids in the family, but always wish to have kids on their own. Lately, we got busy with Megan's, 12's, health problems. She started suffering from anemia, loss of appetite, and recurrent fevers. We've taken her to the pediatrician, and from there, we've learned that she has cancer. It was so devastating, I didn't want to tell my family right away. Most of them have chronic conditions, and this type of news might trigger a negative reaction because they love Megan and would give everything to see her healthy. My friend suggested using Facebook, but no. My husband and I decided to gather the family at my house this past Wednesday to announce Megan's diagnosis. My aunt didn't take it well because she holds Megan dear, so she was rightfully the most devastated one. After a few minutes of complete silence, my brother started moving in his seat, saying there's something very serious he wanted to tell everyone. He was hesitant, but then he and his wife stood up, and then he said that he just found out they were finally expecting. The family were conflicted, as some got up to congratulate them, and some remained seated. I remained seated, and my brother then approached me and expressed how sorry he was they had to tell us in these circumstances, but said he couldn't wait since this is a huge deal for them after years of waiting, and because everyone was present. Literally everyone, since I said the announcement we wanted to make concerned Megan. I argued with him about how he thought this was an appropriate time and asked if Megan mattered to him at all, since he didn't take a minute to realize she was just diagnosed with cancer. He started reminding me of how many years he and his wife suffered from frustration and disappointment for not being able to have kids, and argued that because he wasn't able to be a father until now, he's 37, he felt he was missing out on so much for many years, and that I didn't have to finally tell him congratulations, but should at least not guilt him for feeling overwhelmed and excited to finally be a father. He said I knew exactly how much he adores Megan, and I shouldn't even think otherwise. Then said he was just sharing good news after hearing the bad news, and there was nothing wrong with that. I told him and his wife to leave my house right then. He said he won't argue anymore because of how tense I felt, but will expect me to apologize at some point. Some family agreed with me, but my parents thought I shouldn't have taken my anger out on him like that, and that they'll always remember my reaction to the news he gave, and should apologize after I've calmed down. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the arsehole. Kicking him out after picking an argument with him might have been the wrong move, since I know that he loves Megan, and also how long he waited to finally become a father. So I felt like I ruined his joy by kicking him out. No, OP, don't feel bad about that. You need to have an absolute crystalline spine in a situation like this. He goddamn well knows that was the wrong time and place to be bringing it up. You specifically brought everyone together so you could bring the news that your 12-year-old daughter has cancer. And he's just like, oh, I can't control myself. God, I have to tell everyone the good news. Just overshadow the terrible news that we're about to receive and make this all about me. God, can't you guys all think of me? Like, what an absolute dickhead. If he wants everyone to be together to hear some news, he should arrange it. You can't just piggyback off of this absolutely tragic incident, you buffoon. Not the asshole OP, he deserves much worse than that. In my professional opinion, of course. Now in the comments, the Kelsey21 says, first of all, I'm so sorry about Megan. You sound like a great dad, and I'm sure she's happy to have you. This one sucks, but not the asshole. Your brother's troubles suck, but at the end of the day, it was not appropriate for him to take over your announcement like this. It was a time for Megan and everyone to support her, and he took that from her. I get what he was trying to do, but he should have ran it by you first. I do wish her luck with everything and I hope she gets better. His troubles suck, yes, and I mean as a dad of 2, it took us 6 years to get 2 kids, so I can relate. But you know what's 1,000 times worse of not getting kids? Have your own kid diagnosed with a life-threatening disease. Not the asshole, they should have waited and maybe personally called family members to give the good news a bit later when things sunk in. It's just so inconsiderate to announce that. There's a time and place for everything. Who the hell hears a child's diagnosis and thinks, oh, this is the perfect time to announce our pregnancy? I hope Megan will be okay, and she's lucky to have such a wonderful mother like OP. People really, really need to learn that if they want all of their family gathered for an announcement, then they need to organize that crap themselves. It isn't that hard to ask your family over for dinner, or throw a barbecue, or have a picnic, or invite everyone over to test your new pizza oven and announce the news. Stop hijacking whatever else is going on in the family. And phones work too. I don't understand this big trend of having a huge party just to announce a pregnancy. Sure, you've waited a while. And then there's the stupid gender reveal and a shower. Just call people and tell them. Raymond Beaumont says, not the asshole. Oh, your kid has cancer? Too bad, but anyways, I've got some great news, folks. He'll always remember how you reacted to his news. So will you. What the hell? You'll always remember that his response to your news, he said, anyway, in other news. You let him off too easy in my opinion, OP. Right? That day will go down forever. Also, I just can't imagine a way OP's brother could frame it so other people at the very least consider both sides. Why don't you see your sister as much anymore? You'll never get this. She's insane. She lost it at me for revealing that my wife was pregnant. Oh, that's ridiculous. Why would she do that? I don't know. She just started yelling that it wasn't appropriate after she had revealed her daughter's cancer diagnosis. I just can't get over the insanity of this situation, man. And he says, I still remember what I was doing with my hands when my sister told us my brother-in-law had cancer. That was over 20 years ago, and I was 10. I can't imagine hearing that my niece had cancer and the mindset to change this subject. And honestly, if my sibling announced something like this, I'd consider it off limits to announce my pregnancy for a long time. Like, I think at that point, the best option might just be for people to low-key find out one by one as they notice the baby bump. I can't believe this guy refuses to see the gravity of the situation. This is ignorance? Is it ignorance or is it malice? I don't know. But if I were his partner, I would be so ashamed that he went ahead and said that anyway. That is not what you do, ever. I can't deal with this. I'm moving on to the next story. Our next post is by user ACForPrivacy22 titled, Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law I will continue celebrating my daughter's birthday every year despite what happened on this day? My husband, 37, passed away a year ago from a car accident when he was on his way to celebrate our daughter's 5th birthday. It was so sudden and devastating for my daughter especially. I got the news from my pastor, but I didn't interrupt my daughter's birthday, and I waited till the evening to tell my family. Generally, my relationship with my in-laws is good. They supported me throughout the hard period in the past months. Days ago was my husband's anniversary, as well as my daughter's 6th birthday. Days prior, I brought up my daughter's birthday and asked my in-laws if they wanted to join us to plan something together since my daughter needed support. They were shocked that I was even thinking about throwing a party, knowing that this is the same day that my husband passed away. I told them I'd be taking the morning to celebrate his 1st anniversary and then celebrate my daughter's 6th birthday in the evening. My mother-in-law got mad and warned me about having a birthday party, but I cut the conversation right then. We met at the cemetery at noon. Then I got home at 4, just in time to start the birthday celebration. We had some of her supportive friends and parents come and brought handmade gifts for my daughter using pictures of her dad. After the party was over, one of my daughter's friends' mothers posted pictures of it on Facebook, and my sister-in-law saw it by coincidence. My sister-in-law and her mother came over later and blew up at me for throwing my daughter a birthday party at her dad's anniversary despite their disapproval. Mother-in-law said I was teaching my daughter to be callous and with no sympathy instead of taking the day to mourn her father's death properly. I argued with them and said that my daughter deserves to have a birthday celebration just like any other normal kid, and sternly said I'll continue to celebrate her birthday every year despite what happened. Mother-in-law said that it was highly disrespectful of me, and kept saying I messed up and caused the entire family more hurt on this awful day. I told her to leave, and she said she won't forget this massive display of disrespect I showed her and her family on her son's anniversary till the day she dies. This caused others to call me callous and irrational, and although my brother-in-law sided with me and said my daughter shouldn't suffer on top of her trauma, I felt like I might have been disrespectful to my in-laws. You know, I have seen a number of people asking what my husband would have wanted. My husband always felt excited whenever our daughter's birthday came. He experienced the loss of a child from his previous relationship, and it affected him and his personality a lot. He always told me that he was blessed to have our daughter in his life and took every chance he got to spend time with her, even though he used to work long shifts and wasn't able to stay home with us. I have to say, in the couple weeks prior to his death, he stayed with us most of the days and constantly talked about missing us despite being right there with him. He was very emotional in those 2 weeks. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I think that I behaved disrespectfully towards my mother-in-law, and I doubled down by saying I will continue to celebrate my daughter's birthday despite her approval. This is another one of those situations where I don't understand where the other person is coming from. Like, I understand where OP is coming from, but this 5-year-old, now 6-year-old, has lost her father on the same day as her birthday. Do we just not celebrate her birthday on her birthday anymore? That's like the one good thing that you look forward to coming up to that anniversary of your father. At least it helps with the pain. It's still a fresh wound. And the mother-in-law is like, no, you're disrespecting his death. I bet if you could talk to him in his ghostly, ethereal state, he'd be like, go ahead, I want you guys to celebrate the birthday. She means that much to me. I really doubt he'd feel disrespected for her celebrating her birthday also on the anniversary of his death. But maybe that's down to people processing grief differently, and maybe this mother-in-law still hasn't processed the death of her son. I can't blame her for that, and I don't think she's an asshole for what she's trying to impose. I just disagree with her in this situation. So while I don't think she's an asshole in general, I think this is an asshole response to the daughter wanting to celebrate her birthday. So OP, not the asshole. Now in the comments, UnhappyCoffee1917 says, your daughter suffered terribly, so the best thing to do is take away from her another joy that every other kid gets to have. Wow, logic. Not the asshole. Exactly. And if they did stop celebrating her birthday, the kid would be more likely to grow up with a complex and blame herself and her existence for the death of her father. My dad's mum died on his birthday the year before I was born. He was crushed by it. He never wanted us to even talk about his birthday because it reminded him of his loss. Then when I was around 10 or so, he was hurt by no one acknowledging his birthday. Sometime in the last decade, his grief diminished enough that it no longer overshadowed him being celebrated. All the years of not celebrating haunted his perception of how much his loved ones valued him. Not the asshole. Celebrate her birthday. Your mother-in-law's grief isn't greater than your daughter's worth. This is exactly the truth. Perfectly stated. Our next post is by user Throwaway29LH, titled, Am I the asshole for throwing away my pad at an acquaintance's house? Throwaway because I'm sort of embarrassed about this. I met a dude on Tinder a few weeks ago, and we seemed to really hit it off. We had a lot of the same hobbies, and I felt a spark between us that I'm sure he felt too. After we got past the talking phase, we decided to meet at his house for coffee. It was great when I arrived. We talked loads and even held hands. However, I was on the 3rd day of my period, and after a couple hours, I needed to change my pad. I ask for the bathroom and he directs me to it. After I finish changing, I noticed his trash can is pretty full. Not sure what to do, I wrap it in toilet paper and sort of smooth it into the trash so it isn't sitting on the edge. We hang out for about an hour more, and he excuses himself to the bathroom. A few minutes pass by, and he comes out and says he needs to talk to me. He says that I shouldn't have thrown away my pad because he might touch it when taking out the trash, and that it was gross and unsanitary. Apparently, he saw that the trash looked different, unwrapped the toilet paper, and saw my used pad. I was mortified. I apologized profusely, and he seemed to take it well. He just told me not to do it again, and if I needed to, just walk a few blocks to a nearby grocery store to change. I left after that, not thinking too much of it. However, I've recounted the events to a few friends, and they think he's a major asshole. I'm not entirely sure. He was really kind about it and didn't seem to get angry, but I'm also starting to see their points too. It's a normal body process for people with a uterus, and I agree, should be more normalized. I'm just not sure what to think, and any judgments would be greatly appreciated. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. Blood can be a little gross when you aren't familiar with it, and it was his house and trash can that I used without his permission. Sorry, but what the hell was he doing unwrapping the toilet paper and looking at the used pad? That made me absolutely cringe up internally. What's he doing investigating the trash? And why does he take it a step further from there and decide to act upon it? I'd mortally cringe on the inside if I were to ever do something as dumb as what he's done there. Then he takes it to that next level by saying, yo, you can't be dumping that in my toilet bin. Yeah, my toilet bins aren't sanitary product disposals. You can't be doing that here. I want you to instead walk a few blocks to the nearby grocery store to change it. That's obviously the more rational and reasonable thing for you to be doing in this instance. And, you would just be upsetting me if you were to continue to dispose of it in my bathrooms, you heathen. This guy is just gross. These actions are not socially acceptable. What's wrong with him? Not the asshole OP. Now in the comments, Noise Proves Nothing says, not the asshole. You didn't put it bloody side up on top. You wrapped it in toilet paper and pushed it into the trash. He had to go out of his way to find out what it was. His rummaging through the trash and unwrapping it made his complaint that he might have touched it taking out the trash utterly ridiculous. His behavior was really weird. Disturbingly weird. Yeah. It doesn't take a whole lot of imagination to figure out what a small roll of something wrapped in toilet paper in the bathroom bin when you have a girl over is. You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to deduce that it's a used pad or tampon. Also, stuff someone put in the bathroom bin isn't some great mystery you need to unravel. If someone put something in the bin, it probably belongs in the bin. The hell is wrong with this dude? Also, what is the bathroom trash even for, if not pads and tampons? Toilet paper rolls, floss, and Kleenex? All can be easily walked out to the regular trash without inconvenience. You need a bathroom trash can for, things that should only be done in the bathroom and would require another hand washing if taken to the main trash. This dude clearly got a bathroom trash can because he sees it in most houses, but didn't think about why people use it. If you don't want people to put pads and tampons in your bathroom trash can, don't have a bathroom trash can. Shh. Don't give dudes like this the option of no bathroom trash. Delio4NY says, this has to be complete bullcrap. His trash looked different, so he dug through and fished out your used maxi pad, then insisted you walk several blocks next time to a store's bathroom to change it, and you apologized. And OP replies, I'm starting to realize apologizing wasn't the best course of action. I'm still not used to standing up for myself and speaking my mind. If you cannot stand up for yourself and speak your mind, you have no business going to a man's house alone. That's a recipe for trouble. Not to victim blame, but OP, please listen to this. Manipulative people often sense when you don't have boundaries and prey on you specifically. I know from experience. Take the time out to practice enforcing your boundaries and not defaulting to apologizing. Otherwise, you'll find yourself backed into a corner and questioning your own sanity. Abusive people will often start testing the waters early on to figure out what they can get away with. Source: experience. This is so important. OP, you apologized for doing something completely normal and using the trash like a normal human being. He now knows that you don't know how to stand up for yourself and will use that to his advantage. Forget about him. Even if he turns out to just be a wimp who's afraid of women's periods, he's still not worth it. Anyway guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you did like it, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and make sure to just interact with everyone in this community. I love each and every one of you that I get to see on a daily basis. And don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I love you. You're on the screen right now with the YouTube members as well. If you see yourself, give yourself a pat in the back. You guys help me continue this YouTube journey. You keep me going. I see you guys everywhere. I see your messages, and thank you so much for supporting me. I really love every single one of you. But with that all said, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.